Hello everyone, my name is Sadman. I will discuss the conditions and concessive from Gorwaa. The topics I will touch is regular conditions, counterfactual conditions, and concessives. First, I will discuss what's condition, regular condition. It means something like if X happened, then Y would be the conclusion. In regular condition, that's the statement. For example, we have here that if I give him the stick, the boy will hit the hyena. And in Gorwaa, this sentence will be, it says characterized, but you can say that um, the conditions start with per, which means if in Gorwaa. Here I have an example. But in bar, when it's in the regular conditions, it will criticize. Here we have the explanation like bar with first agent and then the auxiliaries. It will become Bura. So, for example, if I give him the stick, the boy will hit the hyena. It became Bura, Bura became, sorry, Bur became Bura, like Bura hartai haris karma bahanta, which means in Gorwaa that if I give him the stick, the boy will hit the hyena. So this one is about the regular conditions, but I tried to use without bur. I asked Stefano to use a sentence. I mean, I gave him a sentence in Gorwaa, which is Ani hartai haris garma bahanta, where there is no use of bur, which means if. And I asked him, is it possible to say in Gorwaa? And he said to me that no, it's two different sentences. If I don't use the bur, it won't make like a condition. So he said these are two separate sentences. And the next one is bar as when. Gorwa bar also used as when. Like this one, that bar uga hartai haris garma bahaita. It means when I give him the stick, the boy would hit the hyena. Here you can see that bar do not criticize with the sentences elements. It's here in if you see that bur stays bur, it didn't go with here with the uga. It didn't criticize, and it stays the same. So we have the in below we have the example of the Bura hartai haris karma bahanita. You can see the differences when it happens. Next one, I will discuss the counterfactual conditions, which means two hypothetical situation. I mean, if one happened, then this another hypothetical situation would occur. For example, we have if I would give him the stick, the boy would hit the hyena. In Gorwaa, it characterized by two things, mainly with Bartakai, but it sometimes is Gera in um, different situation. I will explain it to next slides. Bartakai, if we break it down, it will say something like if they said or if it is said, we can say it both way. But here I use in counterfactual, it used as a counterfactual marker. So we have an example for this, which is Bartakai ugahartai haris karma baha ntah, and it means if I would give him the stick, the boy would hit the hyena. Or if I want to literate translation, it would be like if it said uh, if it said that I would give him the stick, the boy would hit the hyena. So here is the difference between the regular, the Burahartai Haris Garma Bahamita, which is regular condition, and the counterfactual. The differences you can see here. In next one, the Gera. Gera in Gorwaa means before. Uh, but here it works in a different way when we use in the counterfactual. For example, I give Stefano a sentence. If I would give him this, if I would have given the boy the stick yesterday, the boy would have hit the hyena. Stefano used gera in this sentence, in which I didn't encounter in other counterfactual. When I said something specific in the past, like I used yesterday, so he gave me Bartakai, Garma, Ugahartai Hari Isa, garma gera bahana tah, which means that if I would have given him the stick yesterday, the boy would have hit. Here, gera means before, but he said that uh, it's it's not seen in other counterfactuals. Only when I give him the specify the past, then he will give me this one. And there's a difference between the last, the normal Bartaka, Yoga Harta, here is the normal counterfactual and counterfactual with Kira. But there is a difference when the Gerak is not like a tense marker or something like that. It can be as seen as a counterfactual marker, I think. I'm not sure, but we need to work on it more so that we can understand how Gerak works in counterfactual conditions or any other conditions. Here, I gave him a future situation where I said if I give the boy the stick, he will hit the hyena. Here, you can see that Stefano used Kera uh, again, but it's in a future situation, which also is a counterfactual. And it's not a tense marker like only happened in the past. It can be happen in the future, and you still have to use the Kera. So yeah, that's another. And the last one is concessive. Concessive means two different situation, two counter or two opposite situation, but happen in the both same time. So for example, we have if I give the boy the stick tomorrow, the boy will hit the hyena. And in Gorwaa, it characterized by tamgera, which is tam in Gora it means even, and gera, as I told you, it means before. So with tam gera, it work as a concessive in Gora sentences. Here I have an example. Tam gera bura hartai haris matlo garma bahanita, which means even if I give him the stick tomorrow, the boy will hit the hyena. And in bottom I have the regular conditions. How it works is you can see the differences. The conclusion would be if you regular conditions, it would be characterized or it would be defined by bar. And if you use counterfactual, it would define by bartakai and in some situation with kera. And if you use concessive, it would come with tamgera. Thank you, everyone.
We realized as we got into this kind of an ambitious topic because not only are you dealing with individual words, but you're dealing with like two different clauses and how they go together and tenses, and sometimes he's speaking quickly.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of the data was of a different order, I think. You got some really rich stuff, but really trying to sort of like sift it out
Yeah.
to figure out, okay, like what's actually going on here. I think that was really the challenge. But some very cool stuff that came out and stuff that like I hadn't looked at before. So yeah, well done for that. Do we have any questions immediately or any thoughts on what we saw so far? Martin has his hand up.
Yeah, that's it's I found it very interesting also because it's partly different from Iraq. So really nice to learn something. In Iraq we can have the tam like the bar, and but this gira is new to me. So I will definitely also look in my text with this gira. There is one more thing that you can do with the conditionals is that to put a predicate marker at the verb, so the a, when it will add a meaning in Iraq, presumably, maybe also in Gorwaa, but it would be something like whenever, every time. The condition would be permanent.
Nice.
So it's I find it interesting that that the concessive is grammaticalized in Iraq completely the same way as the normal conditional, and that you could also find this stem in Gorwaa, because you wonder why, what kind of distinctions that we linguists think of think of making in these conditions are then actually also pertinent to the languages that we study. And so so why would you have a grammatical means? And Iraqo has a grammatical means, but Gorwaa is sort of in between. I have a question though. Oh yes, the bar uga and the bura. You have the when and the if. Was that consistent, the difference that if you have the sentence with bar uga, it is when, and if you have it with bura, it is if? Because
Yeah.
to me that those would be maybe I was careful enough, because to me they would be just interchangeable, and people my people never knew the difference between when and if, but that's maybe because me too, I never know difference.
I didn't go into the when thing that deep, but I think, yeah, I mean, it could be like the differences because of when. But I'm sure about the if. When I use if with him in a regular condition, he always use bura.
Okay,
When never use bar. It's constant in all his
thank you,
samples. So yeah, yeah.
I
thank you.
I thought that this was quite cool too. I mean, when you sort of brought it up and showed it, I said, "Oh, that's really quite interesting," because I thought that they were just interchangeable.
Mm,
Like you said, Martin, maybe I'm
mm,
just not looking at my stuff carefully enough.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And it made me, I was walking down the stairs after one of these sessions and really just sort of scratching my head and thinking, oh my gosh, like this really sort of like basic
mm,
thing, maybe actually I've missed out on it.
Mm,
And so it's so nice that you've had a chance to like look at something specifically and really,
mm,
really tease these things apart. Yeah, I quite appreciate this little piece of data. And whether or not, like it turns out, whether this is optional or not, it
mm,
gives us another chance to go back and really
yeah,
ask. And I
yeah.
think that it's just very cool data. Yeah.
Mm.
Bonnie, you've your hand up. Go for it.
Thanks. One thing that struck me, I was looking up in the most recent version of the World Lexicon of Grammaticalization, which is a reference I'll put in the chat. And there isn't anything showing that like a word for before becomes a counterfactual. So, you might look at this aspect of the meanings because that there aren't very many cases in that book of showing what words for concessives come from. I think they have one concessive coming from a conditional, like in Chinese, and that's it. So, just in terms of what we know about languages and what they do, this is an important data point, I think. You'll know what languages tend to do, but with these kind of words, we don't know what languages tend to do.
well, yes, I have a question that I can't answer. So I don't expect an answer immediately, but in terms of grammaticalization, where does this bar come from? And that would be something that I would want to find out someday, but maybe somebody else will beat me to that.
But you said it's also bar in Iraq.
In Iraq, yes. So it must have come from a bit earlier in time.
Mauro's left, so we can't ask him.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, from a sort of Western point of view, an obvious candidate, the bara, the in, as a condition. But there is also the other one, is simply an interjection, bare, surprise.
Yeah. Why ever this one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So if you have any intuitions on that, I would be grateful. Yeah.
My intuition is the second consonant's an R. It's probably borrowed from nilotic.
Ah,
Well, that's a whole other story, Bonnie, and we're definitely
uh,
not getting into that today. So yeah, I mean, where did this come from? We could probably look for candidate words, and then we could do some historical
Mm.
linguistics, which would be good fun.